Well, today I have something completely different. You're wondering what I'm doing. I'm sitting on my kitchen floor because today's project is to make this sliding drawer. This is for keeping wet recycling. We can easily put that in there when we're working around making our meals. This is for garbage that goes out obviously in the trash. Underneath here, there's a little drawer that comes out, and in that we can keep our bags, our spare bags for both of these. So everything's all done, put together, and when you're finished, it self-closes. So stick around, let me show you what I did to make this. Okay, so I've cut some of the pieces here to get us started, and basically what I'm doing is making a very slim drawer, and these glides will fit on, this is going to be the base, then there will be another piece of wood going on top of this that these will fasten to, and that's what will slide back and forth. So the first thing I need to do is to fasten these to the base and glue them. So I've come up with an idea. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so here's what I've come up with the base. First of all, I've got to lift it off because I'm using these clamps. So I've got these square pieces here, and they make it so that this is going to be right on the edge. So now I can glue this, and I'm going to pin it with my air nailer because it's going to be hard to glue because the glue is going to want to slip around. So I'm going to pin it with my air nailer, and then I might add some clamps with it after that. So let's go ahead and put some glue on that. Okay, so let me show you what I've accomplished so far, and that is I have this little drawer thing. Now what I want to do is I'm going to attach this side to this side, and you can see all the multiple holes there, just like the drawers we installed on somewhere in the last couple of videos or so. What I'm going to do is I'll be pulling this out. If I can find it there. Here it is. So I'm going to be pulling that out, and if you look closely you can see there's holes all the way along here. I'm going to use my center finding bit. It's called a Vicks bit, and I'm going to center find all of those holes, and I'm going to attach this, and I'm going to attach mine so that they're about 3/8 of an inch proud of the base here, so it'll look sort of like that when I'm finished. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and when I come back it'll all be attached, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to attach, or what we're going to do to attach this part to yet another piece that will be the upper part of this. Okay, I've pulled the other slide out, and you can't see where I'm looking at it, but I'm looking down on it, and this is what I'm seeing. Of course, this is the little lever that allows this to pull right out of that whole slide assembly. So there's my marker. Where is it here? There's my little marker, because I want to be, remember, I want to be a little bit proud, and I've already marked. Again, you can't really see until I show you. I've marked a little hole here, or where the hole is going to be drilled, and I'm going to use my marking gauge. Now this doesn't have to be super accurate, but it wants to be pretty close, and I think that's about right there. So all I'm going to do now is just draw a line all the way along my wood, and that's where I will use this center line as the mark of where these holes want to go, and that will be starting with the first hole right there. So that's what that's going to look like, and I don't know if you can see the center line of all of these, but that's where it's going to be. So again, I'm just going to use my center finding bit and just drill holes and fasten that in place. Okay, so now I just need to slide these together, and And of course you need to slide them all the way through. There we go. So they lock, and then they just close on their own. All right, I'll do the same with the other side, then we can start working on the substructure. Okay, so this is starting to look like something now. And remember, I'm using this very thin plywood. It's good quality Baltic birch, but it's still, I don't trust drilling screws into the edge grain of any plywood, which is why I want to use these strips, because that allows me to reinforce these edges for a huge weight saving, but still get really good quality joinery here. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be attaching, gluing, and tacking this to each of these components here, and when it's all done, then I will finally attach this to the base. So this is going to be kind of loose at first, and then it'll get finally put together at the very final stage. So okay, I'm just going to do a quick glue up now. Now I've determined that my air nailer will actually go through this oak and nail down that side like that, and this side. Okay, now that's firm on there. Now what I want to do now is turn it over and drive air nails from the back side so that I get a little bit better grabbing power. There we go. Okay, now I just need to do the same on the front and carry on. Now before I get too far ahead of myself with the upper part of this, what I want to do now is to fasten this, and I'm going to use screws. So I'm just going to countersink, and I've already laid this out. I'm going to countersink it and drive in about 4 or 5 screws on each side. Okay, I'll do the other side at the front and then at the back, and then I'll fill in between. Now I'm going to glue and pin, I'm going to use my 16 gauge or 18 gauge air nailer on this rather than my 23 gauge, so you'll see a little bit of a difference there. I'm just going to speed up this segment. Okay, before I enclose this, I wanted to show you, I've glued and air nailed these on, and what I did was I just found a piece of scrap plywood that was the height that I needed. This is just a spacer in here so that I get these equal, and I'm going to put a cover on here, and it's going to be the same process here, but I just wanted to show you this is what's going to be my shelf in here, and I still need to cut a little bit of a notch out of here. And the reason I'm using plexiglass is if you ever spill anything on it or it gets dirty, it's easy to take out and simply wash. If I fastened it in there, it would be much more cumbersome to do that. So that will fit in there like that. Eventually it'll slide all the way in. But right now I'm just going to put a cover on here, and that will make this super, it's really rigid right now, but this will make it even more rigid because when you pull the drawer out, you'll be basically pulling on this edge up here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Well, there's my finished under counter recycling bin and garbage bin, and you'll pull it out. There will be a handle on here. Actually, the panel of the existing cabinets will be on there, and you'll pull it out from there, do what you need to do, then push it back in there, and it finishes the close and does a soft close. The last thing I need to do is to paint the inside of this white, the inside and the outside white, but I'm not going to show you that. The next time you see this, it'll be already in place. Okay, here we are at installation day, and there isn't a lot of room to film much in here, so I'm going to do the best that I can to show you what I'm doing. So the first thing, of course, is to make sure that the cabinet fits in there, and of course it doesn't. Obviously, I've not fastened anything down. Now, the next thing I need to do is to fasten on the door. And the door, of course, is going to be pulled straight out, but it needs to match this door. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this out and put it in there as straight as I can. And you may not be able to see this, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm putting it right on the edge like that. And then I will align this door here. Then I'm going to use my air nailer and just put a couple of pins in just to hold it in place. Then I can open this door and slide the whole thing out, and then I'm going to drive screws in from the back, and that will fasten it in place. Then I can go ahead and fasten this. And basically all I need to do is screw 3 or 4, well, probably 4 or 5 screws to the floor inside this, and it's going to be that simple. So that's the process. You may not be able to see much of it because you're going to be looking at my back most of the time. So I might just go ahead and do this. Okay, so I've leaped ahead a little bit here, and I've fastened the front door on. I've also put the door handle on while I was at it. And the last thing to do is to fasten 2 more screws to the bottom. And if I ever want to remove this, I just need to take out 4 screws from underneath. And I can take the whole thing out in a jiffy. Okay, let's close that up. Perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so I've just taken a moment and I've put in the 2 containers. This, of course, is the garbage in back, and it just comes out like that, easy. This is for eggshells and peelings from vegetables and fruits and so on, stuff that we can recycle. And underneath here is the bags where we keep those, and that's locked in there so that can't go anywhere. And when you close it, you go like that, and it finishes closing itself. So we use this a lot, probably twice or more than this part. That's why we wanted to have this in the front. So just a really handy way of working around in the kitchen and disposing of the things that you don't want. Well, that concludes my video for today. I am absolutely thrilled with this. This is going to be such a handy thing. And I just love the way these soft close drawer slides work. Absolutely amazing. Give that a shove like that and it closes itself. Nice and quiet, easy to work with. I just love that. Anyway, that concludes my video for today. I'm Colin Canet for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.